Hello everyone, my name is Kasi Pandian. In this video, I'm going to talk about GCP data engineering overview. In this video, I'm going to cover the basic concepts of how the data pipeline and again how the data flows and what all are the GCP tools is being used for the data pipeline. So let's get started. The first concept is like what is data pipeline? Data pipeline is a method from where we get data, raw data from various sources. We have to process the data and store it somewhere, and we have to analyze and visualize the things. So what all we are going to do with data pipeline? Let's see the data flow. From there we'll understand how the data pipeline process works. This is a diagram of how the data comes, like where the data comes from, and how many sources. Is it a raw source or like a structured data, or how many data sources of data we are getting it, and how we are extracting it, and where we are storing it, then how we are transforming or visualizing it, and finally we will be providing this data to a data scientist to analyze. In next slide I'm going to explain how the data flows from the entire life cycle. We can call this as a life cycle. So it starts from we inject data using an ingestion process, and that data should be stored in a storage. Why we need to store it? Because we need to process it and analyze it. Only process and analyze will not help us. So we have to give some kind of dashboard to visualize for the users, right? The end users, they will get only know how the data looks or what kind of data is this. That's what they were interested. So let's go to the next slide to understand what is ingestion and what is storage, what is process and analyze, and what is explore and visualize. Then we'll understand like what kind of GCP tools we can use it for this. Ingestion is the first process to start in in a data pipeline lifecycle. It involves collecting raw data from various sources, and we have to process it and again store it in the storage medium. It can be a stream data, even log data, and e-commerce data or a batch data. So as I said, like this is the first step of the data lifecycle. Then let's see what all of the GCP tools is being used for this. From an application perspective, GCP ingestion scores can be from logging, or a PubSub, or a Cloud SQL, data store, a Cloud Table, Firestore, and Spanner. When it comes to streaming data, we get streaming data from a PubSub, and we have another data called batch. This batch data can be from cloud storage or a storage transfer medium or any appliances transfer from storage transfer medium appliance. The next process should be storage. They call this as a cornerstone of the data lifecycle. What is storage, right? We just store it somewhere in the cloud or optical or a magnetic tape, just like we store data into a medium. That's what we call it, like a storage. And it should be available whenever we need it. Like that's when like durable comes into picture, and it should be a cost-effective solution based on your data need. Let's move on to what all are the GCP storage available for us. They have tools available in GCP based on the data type. They classified structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data. What is structured data? It is like data is clean and structure way of like RDBMS data, like they have a records, rows, columns. So when it comes to transactional data, that will have a clear fixed number of columns and rows. So that's when like they have a tool like we can use either one of them, Cloud SQL and Cloud Spanner. This Cloud SQL is nothing but our Postgres or MySQL. But when it comes to Cloud Spanner, like that's little bit costly. But the advantages are more when it comes to Cloud SQL. So we should know in which scenario we have to use Cloud SQL or a Cloud Spanner. If the data is like structured but it's an analytical data, we can use a BigQuery to analyze further, to store it in the storage, then we can do an analysis. The another type is a semi-structured data. It's a kind of fully indexed data can be stored in a cloud Firestore. But if it's a raw key data, we can use a cloud big table. If it is a mobile SDK, we can use a Firestore real-time database. The unstructured data can be stored in a cloud storage that is called GCS bucket. So this is how they classify types, and again these are the tools we can use it in a GCP storage. We are moving to the next lifecycle, analysis and process. This is like we got the data from multiple sources and store it in a storage. Now what are we going to do with this? So we need to verify and organize it, and again we have to process this data, right? It includes data collection, input, output, and processing, everything. Meaning like we are converting this data into a meaningful way so that this can be used by data scientists. So that's when like the process and analyze lifecycle comes. Let's see what are the tools available in GCP. We have three tools available. We have a data proc and data flow and data prop. Actually, data proc is nothing but data processing. This is an existing Hadoop and Spark apps. If we have to process the data, we can use this tool. Data flow, they are using an Apache Beam. They have a data prep. This is nothing but like fully managed Google service. Let's move on to the last lifecycle of data pipeline. Explore and visualize. See, we have ingested the data and we have stored the data. We now analyze and process it. Now, what we are going to do with this? Like, the end users need to know what kind of data, and they can explore more, and they want to visualize. So for this, like in GCP, we have available tools like Data Studio that will give you a presentation of dashboard or a visualization. They have another something like Data Lab. That is, it's like an interactive Jupyter notebook where you can interact with the data. And in Lab itself, it supports all data science related libraries. And we have a ML pre-built API where we can vision and speech API. They explore it through data through these two APIs. We can leverage this. These are the basic things like when the data pipeline comes into picture, we have to ingest the data and store it somewhere and process and analyze it, then explore and visualize it. This is the overall and what kind of tools we are going to use it. That's what we are going to learn in the upcoming videos. We can see each and every process life cycle in a different videos, even each and every tool in a different videos. We are coming to an end. For data engineering overview, we have four life cycles. That's what I covered in this. But in the upcoming videos, I'm going to cover each and every life cycle in a different video, even each and every tools. So let's see you in next video. Thank you for watching.